This is a famous TikToker guy. He has a TikTok interview show, and there are people watching him interview in Washington Square Park. Like it's fucking, uh, like it's NBC Nightly News or something. Pretty amazing. We're living in the 21st century. It's the 20th century in higher definition. I don't know if you guys have... I was just watching this podcast with Maggie Healy. It's got me all fired up to get on and talk about 21st century aesthetics. And I just feel like I owe a little more value to my viewers from yesterday. And I mean, it's such a beautiful day, and the leaves they're not peaking, but like they're on their way up. They're almost peaking. And so I feel like I have to capture that. I want to get that immediacy. I want to do a little tour around the West Village. I want to drain my phone battery. I should be making a montage. I've been using AI to help me edit. I mean, AI basically replaces your job as a video editor. There's no need to labor over Final Cut X anymore. So I go on TikTok. This is a quantum leap forward in my profession. I'm using AI selectively in a way that I think it is not unethical to use. I think it can help you kind of boost your production. You know, it would take me a lot of time to chop these clips down. So basically what I can do now is I just select so I can shoot my show like I always do, kind of long clips, horizontal, at a distance, cinematic. Then you just throw them into TikTok, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many clips you want. So I've been making these little montages, because within my show there's kind of these sequences, right? Like going out to Waverly Inn was like a sequence. So I went to Prospect Park yesterday and like wanted to capture the foliage there. This is my foliage report. This is hot foliage porn for everybody on YouTube. I've got the goods from Washington Square Park, the West Village. You're not going to want to miss this hot foliage action. But so I can just throw the clips into TikTok. TikTok auto cuts them down to like a 15 or 20 second video. It throws some music on there. And then you can go in from there and kind of manually make changes that you want to make. Change the music. So it basically, you know, it does it does the hard part of your job, where it's just like sort of like finding the vibe and just chopping away. You know, for me, it's like, that's why my vlogs are 2 hours long. I don't like to edit. I like to include everything. Long, slow television. My poems may be fast, but my vlogs are slow. Let me make sure my fucking microphone is on here. I predict 5 or 10 years from now, everybody in this park is going to be like an obnoxious content creator. Like not that they aren't already, but like there probably be way more fucking people interviewing, doing what I'm doing. The creator economy firing on all cylinders. I don't know. I just wouldn't capture all this beauty. What is the sound of the future? Or are we there? I think. Well, not to get off subject, but I was watching this interview. This guy, this guy of the band The Monks, which was an American band. I think they were army guys stationed in Germany during the 60s. It was the first video I ever saw on YouTube, actually. First time I ever saw YouTube, this guy, Nick Schold, who's an indie rock superstar in Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to Nick Schold. He's a producer and a sound guy and a line cook and a skateboarder. He was in a band called The Rackets, and he brought us in to record. He had this really cool studio downtown in Columbus on Gay Street in a basement. So he brought in Audible Detonation, just totally out of the goodness of his own heart to record Party Town, some of our songs, right? And it was the first time I've ever recorded anywhere, really, more or less, other than like at home. And he sent us this fucking YouTube video because Audible Detonation was very like Nuggets coded. It was a garage rock band. It was an attempt to rehash the 60s, one-hit wonder kind of garage rock thing on speed. It was definitely like a high energy. Anyway, he thought I was really into the Sonics. It was a lot like the Sonics, but he sends us this video on YouTube of the Monks, which is this band. They shaved the top of their head like they were fucking, and they dressed like they were monks. So I was on TikTok, you know, as I do, and as I'm wont to be, and this video pops up about the Monks because they subconsciously know that it's this crucial autobiographical link in my existence. And this guy, he's been popping up. He's this British guy. He kind of looks like Ethan Filler, actually. And he's like a music expert on TikTok, and he gives reviews of everything and kind of in-depth. And so he was giving his take on the Monks. He said the Monks were maybe the most forward-thinking band of the 60s, which is kind of a fucking bold claim to make. But he said you can kind of hear like things like a lot of the krautrock, even though they were American guys playing in Germany, you can hear a lot of krautrock in the Monks. To be honest, I didn't really like it. When the guy sent us the YouTube video, I wasn't into it really. He also tried to turn us on to Escarita, which I like Escarita, but I mean Little Richard. Maybe that's just how it works. Maybe there's somebody that's just too weird, and then kind of a person kind of steals their idea and kind of smooths it out and packages it, and Little Richard is a classic. Escarita is like a cult. Question the Mark and the Mysterians, I think, were super influenced by Escarita. But I didn't know any of this stuff, you know, when I was 19, 20 years old in Audible Detonation. You know, we just wanted to be the Beatles. You know, we wanted to be the early Beatles, basically. That was my goal. Be Beatles live at the BBC. Because if you just learn all the songs that Beatles learned and learn all the Beatles songs, like, you'll become the Beatles, right? Like, that's how it works. You just get a Hofner bass and Beatles rock band. Didn't turn out that way. So this guy sent us the video of the Monks. He said you could kind of hear, like, I don't know, you can even hear, like, I don't even know, like, electronic music in their kind of rhythms. There's a Monks song in the Big Lebowski soundtrack. Maybe I should revisit that stuff, I don't know. But that was my introduction to Web 2.0 YouTube. Welcome to the future. And so the idea was at the time the Monks were sort of like, the audience, if you watch the clips of them, the audience just doesn't know what to think of it at all. Because it's so fucking weird within the context of that era. You know, those garage bands and shit. And then these guys come out with their heads shaved on top, playing this kind of propulsive, dark sounding music. Drone. Like it's canned or something. Repetitive. Almost like mechanical or something, I guess. It's like, I don't know, it's like goth or something. It's like dark in a way. Maybe I'll start walking before the sun goes down. And so the idea is sort of being like, Uh, what does the future sound like? What does the 21st century sound like? Are we just living in the 20th century with higher definition? And maybe that is the 21st century. You know, why not? I mean, is this our job? I think in a certain way, humanity, we manifest in these cycles, a generation. These things are not totally arbitrary. They're not just totally invented. You know, like there are lifespans, there are time spans where like a certain number of people are born. They have a shared culture, shared affinity for certain things, and they generate meaning for whatever it is that directs their values. Now it's, I don't know, celebrity, pop music, social media, self-improvement, self-help, cult of the self, just trying to make yourself the most marketable thing that you can on the internet, trying to sell yourself. And meditate, work out, eat green juice diet. Whatever the hell it is this year. But it takes a long time. I mean, you know, the 20th century wasn't that way all at once. The early parts of the 20th century were sort of Victorian and slow. You can feel that kind of merging with the 19th century. That's one of the things that's kind of fascinating about time, is the kind of like stutter edit or like reiterations, and kind of like how certain things appear, then they don't come significant till later, and then certain things exist. Like,
Can we use your lighter?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Go around this fucking thing real fast. You know, and it's the avant-garde's job, right, to figure out what the fucking future is, to show the future, to get the new fucking technology, to just start fucking around with it, invent new sounds. So Matty Healy's fucking conjecture is that the most forward-thinking revolutionary artists of the 21st century, who sort of invented the sound of the 21st century or heard it before anybody else, was 3 6 Mafia. Which I think is kind of an interesting pick, and maybe not an incorrect one. I mean, my buddy John Ryan, who lives in Japan now, he just moved to Japan. He was super into fucking 3 6 Mafia when he'd ride BMX and shit. You know, and fucking as a little psychotic 14-year-old or whatever. Listen to the fucking, you know, all the kind of smartest tweakers that I knew. They all listened to Slob on my knob, like corn on the cob. My brother Jack, of course, super into fucking 3 6 Mafia. He regularly does 3 6 Mafia shit at like karaoke and stuff. Stay Fly. Stay Fly. His point was they kind of invented that suck on dick. Does it real good. Da 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 da. That, whatever that style of rap is, that kind of everybody fucking does now. Yeah, I just wanted to do the fucking fountain one time and get some of the, like I said, get some of this nice colors. Here's this guy again, look like I'm saying, people are fucking watching him. Goddamn film and shit. I don't know what that guy's name is. He hasn't popped up on my TikTok in a while. All right, this guy's selling weed. That's an optimist. That's a hopeful sign. That's a good sign. I like this guy's out here selling weed. Thanks, man. Thanks for freedom fighter. This guy's a freedom fighter, man. It's legal, man. Let the people get weed. Let the people get low-cost fucking weed. It's just a fucking festival of life out here on this beautiful day. Maybe it's going to be the last good one. I mean, I think my forecast, I'm a weatherman. Here's the report. My forecast, my foliage forecast, my leaf forecast. I think the next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think it's peaked yet. I think the leaves are looking real nice and yellow, but if you haven't gotten your chance to get out there and take a forest bath in the autumn color scheme, in the When Harry Met Sally season of vanilla spice, pumpkin spice, Gilmore Girls core. You still got time. Get yourself. I mean, I went to Prospect Park yesterday. It was lovely. Check out my montage, my AI montage, my AI assisted montage. You notice? I mean, it makes it so much easier because like I haven't been posting any of these fucking shorts or reels or anything, and it's like these social media companies are trying to pimp us into that stuff so bad, and they kind of reward you. Like I post so. And it's just like I need kind of a fresh, I need an approach to that. I need a fresh kind of like, I don't know, outlet or something. And so the fact that I can just have AI like literally whip these fucking music videos up, these vibey like mood board, mini fucking sequences, it literally edits it in like a fraction of a second. Like those videos. Ooh, shit! Is it a soccer? Okay. Those videos I was editing for like that art gallery. That guy, did you hear that? That guy just called me the F. Did you hear that? He called me a stupid FA, blank blank OT. Oh yeah, that's homophobia. That was homophobia. You just experienced it on the streets. I mean, I guess I do have a selfie stick, but I'm telling you, we're trying to live in the fucking future here. We're bringing value to the world. Look at this. Look at this beauty. You can't ignore that shit. Wow, did not pass the vibe check. But I also do want to talk about cruising, so I'll talk about cruising as well. I'll give my review of the classic. I think it's a good movie to watch. People are really freaking out about the selfie stick today. I'm not sure why. I think maybe the culture has fucking started to tune in on what's going on with I think everybody's addicted to TikTok or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I haven't gotten this kind of reaction with the selfie stick ever. People seem really catalyzed. It's okay, I guess I should get those fucking Facebook glasses. Okay, we're going into cafe ratio here, people.
No, we are 0%.
Classic fucking.
It's a great song and it's super fun.
Hey, it's a free fucking country, okay? I'm gonna live stream till I die. I don't care what kind of people insult me or what, okay? We're gonna be out here bringing you reality and just a talk show of walking around, walking and talking. What could be better? Walking and talking, baby. This is all I've ever wanted to do. This is what we're made for. It's what human beings are built for. Fucking walking and talking. There's a grizzly bear. A completely accurate name. 100% accurate. Oh, God, I wish these backgrounds weren't so blown out. So yeah, 3-6 Mafia being the most forward-thinking. I guess that's true. I mean, that's been more or less my quest, you know, since fucking Wavetable. Even with Holy Smokes, you know, there was a part where we started, I mean, it was basically a deconstruction of the fucking, those songs and stuff. The Americana kind of rock and roll thing. And then that sort of melted into Wavetable, which nobody saw. And then that post-pandemic came back as System Lord. You know, so for me, basically since 2017, I have been lucky to play. I mean, I've always been lucky to play with everybody I've gotten to play with. And I play with, you know, I've been lucky to play with a lot of great freaking musicians, to be honest. Really fucking talented people. But since 2017, the push has been more to do something that sounds like now, that sounds like the future, that sounds like the 21st century, that sounds like advancing, you know. And so a lot of this shit is matters of equipment, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta have the newest fucking doodad to make the newest fucking sound. That shit costs money. Not to mention, well, one of the things that was interesting about this, and I would say that this is not true with System Lord, but the idea being that there's not really any new hardware anymore. Everything's like software now. All the new sounds, all the developments. We're not really building objects right anymore, right? Whereas I would say with System Lord, like it very much is about those objects. It's about these very specific modular synthesizer, whatever the fuck they are, circuit board type things. I don't even know what they do. You know, like I said, I'm lucky to play with Nevin and Andrea. They know how to use that stuff. That's really the thing that makes it sound new. And it doesn't sound like anything, really, that I've heard. You know, I think that's one of the things that's hard about the new is like, you know, when you hear it, but it is one of these things that, like, you know, your future favorite band, you might not like them the first time you hear them or something. You know, like the first time I heard the fucking Monks, I was just like, not that I like them or anything, but not that I like them or anything, but God, people are really just stunned by this. I'm like amazed. Did you see those guys, the way they were looking at me? You know, I've been doing this for like a year or something, maybe more, walking around with this thing, with this ridiculous thing. This narcissistic Ron Popeil fishing rod. but people are really just aghast. They're taken aback. They seem very offended or something. They seem like stunned. They're like startled and what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, there's too many. There's too many words to describe this because it's so. They look indignant. These people seem like indignant. I mean, am I bleeding or something? Like, why is it such a controversial thing all of a sudden? We'll see how it goes. I mean, maybe somebody's going to take my selfie stick away and break it like Larry David. I don't know. Just keep an eye on the people in the background and watch how they... So yeah, obviously I'm making a case for the bands that I'm in as the sound of the future and the sound of the 21st century. I mean, God, if there's anything, I just wish people would book System Lord more. It just sucks so bad that like we only get offered a gig like once a fucking 6 months, and you know, we're responsible adults, so we have things going on. It's not always easy to play. But it's just a fucking shame. More people should see System Lord. Was this where Jane was? Was that Jane? Sarah Beth's? No way. Did Jane go out of business? I had a fucking, I was training to work at this restaurant once. Jane. Supposedly David Bowie's wife would come in. Iman. And it was a nice place, but it was like, I don't know, there was something different about it than the other fucking restaurants I'd worked in. The people were all white. And they were assholes. They were so mean. Everybody there was like so fucking like, just like cunty. And the guys, I'm talking about the guys, but it was like a very serious. It was like you had to know all the fucking ingredients every day. They did like a tasting. You had to come in early and like eat the food, and so you could describe it to the customers and shit. But they wanted every single person to work brunch on Sunday. So it was like no matter what the fuck you did, no matter what your life was, you had to be in that place at like 9:30 a.m. on a Sunday. Wow. I think that was Jane. That's crazy to me that place went out of business. Because they had managed to survive. They survived the fucking pandemic and shit. Maybe, is this set up here? But, you know, Iman ate there. It was a pretty good restaurant, but it was, I didn't last long. I lasted like 1 or 2 of the training shifts and was just like, no fucking way am I waking up at, 7 a.m. on Saturday, take the train Sunday morning, to fucking do a brunch shift where you're not going to make any money. You're going to have to do, then there's a whole fucking menu just for that. So it's like 1 day a week, 2 days a week, maybe. Because brunch is such a fucking competitive sport in New York. I don't know. Maybe that's just an eternal New York thing. Has New York's always been like the brunch fucking capital? Or is that just everywhere? Is that a millennial thing? Getting back to things that seem very millennial. Brunch. Let's put brunch on that list. Somebody in the comments, and I apologize, somebody in the comments seemed like really offended the way that I characterize millennials as being from St. Paul, Minnesota. I said some shit about how all millennials feel like they're from St. Paul, Minnesota, and blah, blah, blah. And somebody in the comments was like really pissed off about that. They were like, hey, you shouldn't, talk shit about St. Paul, Minnesota or whatever, but it's like, okay. It was a fucking joke. I mean, I wasn't really saying anything bad about them. I just said they rode fixed gears and wore jorts and We're kind of like NPR, like cheese people. They like work in cheese shops. And they're like American bougie. You know, they're like in a dairy. And, well, I don't know. Millennials are just... they've been, you know, they're going to overparent. They feel overparented. And so they're very stingy about everything. They're uptight. We all have food allergies. We're allergic to gluten, for Christ's sake. The foundation of civilization. Well, what we're allergic to is the fucking pesticides and shit. All the chemicals and all the bad shit they put in the food. Oh my God, okay. In America, they're trying to kill us. Okay, I'll bet the guy who called me the homophobic slur was a stand-up comedian. I'll bet you anything. What do you want to bet the guy was a stand-up comedian? I mean, he's in this neighborhood. What the hell else would he be doing here? He looked like a stand-up comedian. Maybe I should put that video on the internet and get this guy canceled. Hey, if you know this man, he called me a homophobic slur. Can we ruin this guy's life on the internet? I'm gonna just clip that part out. Look at this guy. Did you hear this language he used? All I was doing was using my selfie stick. And I suffered a hate crime. I mean, it's New York. I mean, hate crimes are kind of the name of the game, I guess. You know, how do they know I'm not just a fucking streamer that's just like walking around taking pictures of the streets and shit? How do they know I'm not Action Kid? Look at, I mean, this is just, I just want to get, I look at how nice this is, you know, it's peak. So, I want to share it with my audience, you know, my dedicated fan base, Adam S. and Bruce Halliday. The only two people who watch. I don't know what happened to Kiwi Mountain. Maybe Kiwi Mountain died. There goes a third of my audience. We got to get those hours up, guys. So if you could just like play my videos on your devices at all times. You don't have to watch them, but just click them and play them. You know, it's not even required that you watch any of this content. Just play it, you know? I just need the play time. Just put it on in the background, you know? Or while you're asleep or whatever. Just put on one of my playlists. Just let it go. As artists, yeah, that's the least we can do for each other. That's free money, you know? Clicks, likes, views. That is free money. I guess I could just click my own videos 100 times. For some reason, it counts self-clicks. I think that's really... that's wrong. It should not count self-clicks. You're not going to learn anything from self-clicks. Okay, my controversial live stream goes on, okay? I'm committed to this. I'm committed to going till my phone runs out of battery. We're bringing you the goods here live from New York, the center of the flat Earth. I mean, there's people who believe the fucking Earth is flat. They believe the election was fixed. They think the moon landing was fake. There's a lot of people who believe this shit. Those are the people who are voting for Trump. You know, like, I don't necessarily know that we should be surprised that there's still 50% of the people out there. It's like, yeah, those are the people that think the Earth is flat. Or, you know, it's not even that they think the Earth is flat. It's just like they don't want to believe what mediated sources tell them. They think it's manipulation, and they only trust their own shit. They trust their gut, or, you know, they just want to, you know, they want to believe the whatever you don't want them to believe. That stupidity is all they have. That's the only thing they can call their own. It's just, I don't know. Why can't they weaponize the stupidity for good? Why does it have to be weaponized for evil? You know, that's what I try to do with my content and my poetry. Trying to get through to the stupid people. Or I don't know, they're adventurous, you know? They're intellectually adventurous. They're willing to entertain the possibility that maybe everything we've been told is a lie. And maybe it is, who the hell knows? Maybe I'll go. Oh, what do I want to do here? Fuck. This will be a nice little thing to check on. Oh, Bar V, is that V-Bar? RAP V-Bar, we used to love V-Bar on Sullivan Street. I had a job interview there once. It went out of business. Man, I can't believe Jane went out of business. Wow. That bougie-ass brunch place. Yeah, so I don't know, has New York always been just like this brunch megalopolis? It feels, I don't know, I guess distinctly New York because you're partying all night on the weekend. You're up till, you know, the bars don't close till 4 a.m. here. That's so goddamn late to be partying your balls off, doing coke, doing pink cocaine. Is this it? Oh my God, there's an Ohio State flag. Uh-oh. That's not good. And so Sunday, you can't really make it to breakfast. No one's having breakfast. But you can make it to like some kind of 2 p.m. You know, but you still want to eat breakfast food. You still want to eat like fucking... You can't really see it from here, but there is an Ohio State flag over here. I don't want to go any closer. I'm not going to investigate. I don't care. I want to look the other way. Okay, I guess these trees haven't really started to go yellow, it seems like. Fuck. And so New York, yeah, it's just like it's what you do Sunday afternoon. You go out, you drink more alcohol, you have Bloody Marys or mimosas or whatever. You eat eggs hollandaise or eggs benedict or French toast or pancakes or whatever the fuck. Lox. I don't know, it just feels very New York to me. I mean, even brunch is too early. I would eat brunch every day of the week. Can you even eat brunch on a weekday? I don't think it counts. There is no brunch that exists on a weekday. Like, it kind of has to be a weekend to have brunch. If everybody's at work, it's not really brunch. Yeah, I guess the foliage isn't that good over here. They're renovating the Cherry Lane Podcast Theater. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, how do we get into the 21st century? How do we? We're 25 years almost into the 21st century. Culturally, what are the things that, is Brat Summer? I guess that's very 21st century. I mean, I have not really listened to the 1975. I don't really love their sound. From what I've heard, it's like super reverb and just like, I don't know. It's sort of like The war on all the new rock and roll, like Kurt Vile or the war on drugs. Not that I listen to any of it. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at all. But it all seems like it has this, like, I don't know, like kind of synth backdrop or something. It doesn't seem like guitar music. He was talking about he does some kind of performance art during his concert, and he was kind of like trying to justify why this performance art failed in front of like Madison Square Garden. It's like, wait, because you did performance art. It's like, it's not supposed to work. Nobody's supposed to like it. And it sounded really contrived and kind of a little fucking preachy or something. Matty Healy, this guy. You know, I don't know. He sort of popped up on my radar. He's one of the Mats. So he's in the Brotherhood of the Mats. So we're kind of like the same person, except he's like a better version. His band is like successful. They're playing Madison Square Garden. He's doing fucking performance art. Like at their Madison Square Garden, supposedly. But, it, you know, it's all about like masculinity or something. You know, he seems like he's kind of this, the person who's going to be the vocal piece talking about like class, masculinity, you know, which are things that anybody that watches this knows I've been talking about for fucking years and years and years and years. As an aspect of the politics, you know, this is why all these fucking men are going to vote for Trump, right? Because the left has not really made that, or being working class or anything. You know, it hasn't really been about that for a long time. So, but you can see that sort of starting. You sort of see white guys like Matty Healy being let back into the culture. Like, okay, yeah, we're just going to let this articulate, just hot, like, British guy be fucking famous and promote his band and shit. I was watching, incidentally, the X Factor audition of Harry Styles. His first audition on X Factor, which I guess is like how they found One Direction, or whatever the One Direction reality show was fucking called. It was terrible. I mean, his voice, he had like vibrato and shit, but like, he sang in about 5 different keys. And, you know, this guy is like the most famous fucking pop star probably of that generation, whatever that is. You know, sort of like between millennial and Gen Z. One Direction, well, the guy just died, right? So I did want to talk about that a little bit. This Liam Payne guy just died. I don't know anything about One Direction. They're sort of like In Sync, I guess, meets Take That, but like a reality show band. You know, they're almost like a fucking The Voice or something. But, you know, they seem like super modeled on In Sync, New Kids on the Block, that kind of thing for the fucking, you know, that's part of what drives you nuts about people's attachment to these kind of things is like they fucking sort of brainwash you into that stuff when you, before you even know who the fuck you are. They get a bunch of pop songwriters to write hit songs or songs that are already hits. They record them. I think One Direction would do covers and shit. You know, and it's like cute, whatever, 18-year-old boys or whatever. So it's like, you know, young children like buy the records, listen to it, become attached to these people. To be honest, I don't know that there has been a millennial idol that's died in the same way, actually. Like, is there any millennial, like, I mean, One Direction is pretty fucking foundational, I would say, in a way. They're pretty, like, an essential part of that. It'd be like if one of the fucking NSYNC guys, I guess Aaron Carter died. Everybody expected that, though. Everybody knew Aaron Carter was going to die. I mean, it was kind of obvious. He had a face tattoo. I mean, he told the truth, you know? He tried to tell the truth, so they killed him. Fuck. Maybe I should have gone down Perry Street and shit. Nick Carter, did Nick Carter die? Or I guess there was another guy from that kind of era, but I don't know. It's just not quite the same. It doesn't feel like there's a millennial. I guess all these rap guys died, Lil Uzi Vert, all these. But I think the Liam Payne thing. Well, I've been seeing these videos, these vigils for this guy. Like they did a fucking vigil for him at Washington Square Park, and it was like, hundreds of fucking people singing the songs and shit. Airmail is the Sky Mall of retail. Airmail is Graydon Carter's Airmail is like a Sky Mall or a store. So this Liam Payne thing, I think it is kind of like in a weird way, like maybe the first hint of mortality for Gen Z or something, Like just to see like hundreds of young people, like college age or whatever, NYU or whatever, whoever they are in Washington Square Park, fucking singing One Direction songs like he's fucking John Lennon or something. And I can't think of I guess maybe Amy Winehouse or something was kind of like a generational millennial thing that was in the 27 Club. So like Amy Winehouse is our like, or what's that guy, Mac Miller maybe? I guess there are like millennial musician icons who died, but I don't know. The Liam Payne thing, it's like those bands just have like a whole other. Oh, okay, 20%. Okay, so I'll get off pretty soon. Hopefully I'll get to 1 hour. Maybe I'll do 1 hour. Now that people laugh at me and call me slurs, just because I want to bring truth and beauty to YouTube. I get harassed on the street. Like it's like we're in pre-Stonewall era, for crying out loud. Alright, so maybe let me try to wrap up here. Well, fuck. Yeah. Trump's working at McDonald's, Liam Payne is dead. He does seem somebody that was like squeezed out by the record industry, right? Like they said, they canceled his record contract. Shortly before he mysteriously fell from a third-story balcony. So, they're not even sure about that. They're not even sure what the fuck happened with that. It's like, did the guy jump? Was he pushed? Nobody fucking knows. Was it just some kind of crazy drug hotel thing? Adam S. knows what goes on in these fucking hotels, the crazy shit. Maybe I can sit over here. Let me try to sit here. Okay. Beautiful, okay. So we'll wrap up over here. My favorite place. Oh, God. Yeah, go sit over there. That's perfect. Oh, I could have got that table. Fuck. Oh, well. It's hard. It's hard these days finding a place to sit in public for free. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, the Matty Healy interview, he kind of raised a bunch of shit that I've been talking about on the live stream. That's what's like frustrating about hearing it, is you're like, okay, this guy's voicing a lot of stuff that's like why we're kind of in this quandary where there's like no new culture, or I don't know. I think there definitely is. Like, there's tons of people making music, there's tons of people playing gigs, supporting each other's bands, right, making content, whatever. I guess none of it sort of breaks through the noise, but it does remind me, and I hate to do this, but I do remember this Harold Bloom quote from my youth where he was talking about, you know, and this was like early 2000s. I think they were asking about fucking Harry Potter or something. And he was talking about the internet and just like how the internet, you know, what the predicament and the situation that it kind of puts us in, where suddenly there's this gray ocean of content, I think is what he said. There's this gray ocean of content, whereas now like there's so much fucking choice. How do we establish what is worth seeing? What is the culture that defines us? Because there's so many fucking things happening. And even legacy media and things like that are loosening their hold. But, you know, Harold Bloom is sort of the king of the fucking literary hierarchy and the canon and all that kind of shit. And so I think part of his argument was there need to be sort of like critics. This is why criticism is important. This is why there do need to be, you know, canons or lists or whatever the fuck. And to discern, you know, to be able to tell the difference between what's good, what's bad, what's worth watching, what's not worth watching, what's art, what's not art. You know, I mean, it is frustrating watching this fucking Matty Healy interview where he's talking about, well, artists aren't taking choices, you know, making big choices because they want to please the algorithm and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that's not what I've been doing, you know, like, to some degree, it's like, it's not easy bringing work to people that isn't immediate likable or shareable or even listenable or enjoyable. Something that takes longer, that's harder to figure out. You know, everything that I do, I've tried to like reflect the fucking political, you know, to me the aesthetics are political. You know, where it's like, if you put out a certain kind of work, if you do it a certain way, it does say or like infer what the fuck, you know, your politics are, or, you know, what your ethics are, how you think people should live, or, you know, I do think that's in your art. What materials you choose, your budget, how you treat your characters, or whatever it is, you know. With System Lord, it's hardcore. It's like Cruising. All right, so I should talk about Cruising real fast. We watched Cruising on Sunday. Which is a movie I've been wanting to see and mentioning for a long time without having seen it, because it's kind of infamous, right? Because there's supposedly like some fisting scene, which, to be honest, in the version that I saw was completely tame and not, I mean, granted it's 40 plus years later, so we're obviously desensitized. It just felt like a night out in Bushwick to me. Cruising just felt like going to Happy Fun Hideaway or something. I kid. It's almost like, you know, I know it happened before AIDS. There's kind of a deliberate confusion in the narrative that kind of pissed me off, where it's like he gets the actor who plays the killer is like the victim in the second killing, and then another guy plays so it's like, and then at the end of the movie, not to spoil it or anything, but I guess even Al Pacino didn't know what the fuck the truth was. And the ending is sort of, wouldn't even say it's ambiguous, you know, it kind of is meant to lead you to think a certain thing about Al Pacino's character. Whereas, like, to me, that movie, it's like, I think Al Pacino's kind of miscast. It's kind of like Serpico. It feels like he's like this undercover cop, but he's in this world that's like way different than Serpico. And, you know, like I was saying, there's this kind of, Pacino seems like he doesn't really know what's going on, and apparently him and William Friedkin, the director, like really would fight and didn't get along, and he, like I said, he didn't even tell Pacino what the actual truth was when he's playing the last scene. He just said, you know, wash your face and then look in the mirror and then look at the camera. And that's literally all he told him. He didn't tell him, this is the truth about what happened with your character. Like, even Pacino didn't know. And so the movie kind of has this kind of like floating antagonist and villain where it's like the killer, it's like a serial killer, but it's willfully kind of implied that it's it's kind of all of these people or something, or you don't know who the killer is. And so in a certain way, even though it came out before AIDS, it does feel like kind of a presage of that or something, where it's like, because it takes place in all these, the meatpacking district, which is right over here, was where the mine shaft and all these kind of leather bars were, and these S&M and kind of bondage subculture, I guess, is what it's really about, which became, I would say, more mainstream during the Trump era. Apparently Trump is like an S&M guy. Apparently Melania is like his dom or something, and he has a collapsed anal wall. That's why he pisses himself. So he's a product of the kind of cruising era. But there's amazing kind of cinematography, night cinematography in it. The lighting is incredible. It feels almost like a gothic or like horror movie almost. The photography, like there's a killing that takes place in Central Park, in like the ramble, in the lighting, and all of it looks very, very much like a werewolf. It feels almost like a werewolf movie in a way. Pacino looks like a werewolf, and there's this kind of undercurrent of menace and kind of sinister. You never know where the violence is going to come from. But I don't know. When we first watched it, I was kind of, because I guess they had to cut a lot of footage out. And it kind of feels that way. That's part of like the ambiguity or something. But I gotta say, it wasn't as shocking as I thought it would be. We're a desensitized modern audience. Now this is like normal. For Gen Z, this is just like their normal, Friday night or whatever. To get like fisted in like a leather bar or whatever. But at the time, I don't know, it was kind of a shocking movie, I guess, and kind of a groundbreaking movie in that it portrayed that subculture with, it documented it, I would say. But apparently the gay community heard about the movie and did not really support it, and sort of tried to disrupt the filming because they didn't really like what they were doing. So I don't know. I guess it's a complicated movie. Is it homophobic? Possibly. I'm not qualified to say, I guess. But it's definitely worth watching. It's a nice companion piece like Hardcore. Do a double feature with Hardcore and Cruising. You'll get great actors sort of in over their head and like sexual subcultures, trying to deal with like the filth of the 70s or whatever. I mean, I would say in a certain way Cruising is not really judgmental, like I would say that it doesn't make them look like stereotypes, I wouldn't say. I think Mapplethorpe was influenced by Cruising. Mapplethorpe saw Cruising, and I think it like inspired some of his photography, which makes sense. But what I was looking at Pacino, because Pacino's kind of having this. All right, Ashley, love you. I'm about to get off pretty soon. Pacino's kind of having this late life. He's doing all these interviews and stuff. There's this kind of retrospective or something going on. And it's crazy how few movies he made, actually. Like in the 70s, you think Pacino was like this big movie star that was in everything. He really didn't make many movies after Godfather 2. Between that and Cruising, I think, he maybe did Injustice for All, or like, he wasn't in a ton of stuff, He wasn't in 3 movies every year. And even throughout the 80s and stuff, like, he's not like De Niro, where he's just in all these fucking movies. Yes, Ashley, we will explore the fall foliage, however you say it. We're live. It's Adventures in Foliage. Thank you guys for watching. Probably going to get off in a second, but just check it out here. You know, this is the new sartorialist. This is the new street fashion photography. Whatever happened to the sartorialist, by the way? I'm sure he's rich as hell. I'm sure the sartorialist, like, has got a nice, cushy life somewhere, but... I mean, is that still a blog? That was, like, so, like, you know, distinctly a fucking vlog. Blog. I think street live streaming. I want to do, like, live talk show from, like, Washington Park. Like, just go live and just interview people, whoever's there. You know, like, we saw that guy earlier. I started the broadcast with that blonde guy who does the TikTok interviews. It's like, why the fuck not just do live interviews with randos? You know, just the unedited, raw feed of just get your finger on the pulse of America. What people are really thinking. That'll probably get us banned from YouTube pretty quickly. Probably people will start saying crazy shit. Well, thank you for watching. I thought this was a good stream. It was dense, full of a lot of good nutritional information. You know, if we got to vote for Kamala, so these changes will all get, you know, so the class war. You know, I think the term Nepo baby and trust fund, this is the verbiage of class warfare. This is how we are, like, attacking. This is how we, like, are playing out the class warfare now, by complaining about it on our social media profiles. About how we're jealous of Nepo babies or trust fund kids or whatever. Finance bros. The people who ruined the museum cities. Who flattened the beauty of the world with millennial minimalism. Okay, is there anything left that needs to be said here? Check out my mini highlight sizzle reel montages. Oh, they've got yogurt. Who knows? Maybe Midwood in 15 years is going to be the new Williamsburg. Maybe 15 years from now, Midwood is going to be all Van Leeuwen, Whole Foods, Hudson Grace, Blue and Cream. Maybe I'll just get a little bit more of this neighborhood character in here. I don't know. I can't stop the live. There's guys sitting next to me on the bench. It's always so awkward. I mean, the seating's at a premium in fucking the park, but it's always so fucking awkward when somebody sits at the same bench or table as you while you're live streaming from Bleecker Park. But I can't end the live stream while I'm sitting next to the guy. I've got to leave and then end the live stream because it would just be too weird of a moment if I were to end the live stream and then just be like sitting there with the guy. Like, hi, was it good for you? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll just get this last nice little street in here. I'll probably get back on tomorrow because it's just such a nice. I think I might do a live stream from Midwood or something. Just to get some variety in there, but all right. Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and have a great